The prince was about to extract blood from his daughter's heart to cure her illness when he suddenly heard her inner thoughts. Oh, you're alone and can't live a good life. You're an ugly person to me. My son's life is yours, but you're not his. The prince's wife and concubine were pregnant at the same time. Unexpectedly, a modern baby was born from the wife's womb. To be able to give birth to the eldest son first holding wife's hand, the other person had pushed himself into the lake. The prince immediately became angry after seeing this scene. Of course, he accepted whatever was in front of him as the truth. Lu Xiaojiao, this did not calm Yao Yao down. You pushed him into the lake at this time. The baby may be born prematurely. That I actually took the medicine to tell Prince that he was going to have a baby. So the prince was willing to take her back for delivery. However, after learning that these children are in the womb, it's not enough to just call your life. At first, the princess was a little confused by this voice, but 3 days later the concubine sent someone to deliver the baby. And Meiji said it was an antidepressant. The princess, who was unaware of this, just wanted to drink it. I heard the child's own voice before it's open. The princess was completely astonished and asked the maid whose voice it was, but the maid said she heard nothing. Lu Fengyang's son Yang Qi was born after the waterfall. To prevent me from getting worse, he wanted to beat me again. By now the queen was absolutely sure that the sound was coming from her womb. Unexpectedly, the new concubine went straight to the queen to tell her this, that if the prince had come here on purpose, he must have seen her drinking hot water. When the queen learned of the problem, she was not used to it. Then he forced it into the mistress's mouth. Why is my sister vomiting so violently? Does she think Prince Charming is too charming, or does she know the medicine was spiked? Seeing that the two men were already struggling with food shortage here, the young concubine thought that the prince had brought another bowl of fetal medicine. The young concubine was confused and said that the princess had wronged herself. After drinking the fetal medicine, she had a stomachache and wanted to see the royal physician. Actually, she wanted to escape from the prince. That he also took the medicine brought by the prince and made it himself. So no matter which bowl the princess drank water from, it was medicine for the fetus. The prince, who had no idea about this, was still in shock, but when she was about to feed the princess, she also heard the baby's heartbeat. Why does it have a little girl's voice? To protect her daughter, the princess also tried to protect her, whether the prince had kicked her first or not, and then raised a dagger to scare the prince not to come near her, otherwise she would kill him first. Since the prince had heard the child's voice earlier, the princess's attitude also changed, and she told him not to act impulsively and fear hurting himself. This time, the child also told them that the new concubine was outside, and immediately ran inside, feigning pity, saying that her son was in a hurry, and then made an excuse of needing the child's blood. As expected, before the concubine could speak, she ran inside and told the prince that her son's illness was worsening and he needed help. Then, feigning weakness, she showed the marks on her brother's wrist, lying that his blood could only be reduced temporarily, and thinking that only the child's blood could complete the son. The prince actually thought that he didn't even want his own life for his son, so he was more affectionate towards the concubine and indifferent towards the princess, who knew that at this time he heard the child's new voice again, that my son has been poisoned, and he wants to take my blood. Yes, he can use it too. My mother will die at that time. You should know how precious my blood is to him. Hearing this, the prince asked the royal physician to examine the medicine, but the royal physician and the concubine were not together, so she examined it and told the prince that it was a bowl of anti-disease medicine, that he didn't expect them to be together, and the child told him about it. The prince heard it and secretly went back to investigate. However, in a few days the princess was about to give birth, and it turned out the concubine had bribed the midwife. The princess was in dire straits, and he was about to strangle her to death. Fortunately, the prince arrived just in time and saved the mother and daughter. When he realized the midwife was trying to frame the princess, he immediately ordered his men to drag her out and beat her to death, then embrace the princess and take her to a quiet place. The baby was born. Suddenly, the midwife began to faint again. She pretended to hang herself to attract the prince's attention, and the prince immediately saw through her trick, so he ordered people to drag the midwife out and beat her to death. The midwife expressed her desire to be hanged, so he allowed her to do so. The woman was shocked by the prince's changed behavior and, in a panic, lied, claiming her son was ill. The prince contacted her to find out the truth. That I can only call the royal physician to ask for the treatment method. Your Majesty, this young Swami is ill. That it should be treated with blood of the same lineage as the heart's blood. That if treatment is not possible, you can call me by my name, you can even kill me. Just don't do such a big foolish thing by lying to me. Brotherly, I know you can't stand it, but Yugo is so young that I really can't do anything. Your Majesty, don't worry. I have a secret spell written by Su Shinto. It will not harm the little princess. Nonsense. When the prince learned the truth, he agreed to bleed them, and then he called the royal doctor to the hospital, and under the pretext of borrowing a pen to extract the heart from the daughter's blood. In fact, his own hand was buried in the ground, and then he warned the royal doctor not to talk nonsense, otherwise he would be buried with his entire family. After the explosion, the imperial doctor and concubine conspired. They were so terrified that they could only kneel down and beg for mercy. Then he brought the prince's blood, and when the concubine saw it, she thought it was the child's blood, so she said that the royal physician would have to take 3 more blood samples to get it right. Who knew that the emperor would suddenly kill him over this matter, and the emperor